Japan is designating 4 cities to be the home of Africans.
We are there celebrating as Africans. Hey, Japan has a partner with us. Which partnership is that? Personally, I don't see partnership there. I see a silent racism. Yeah. Believe me, that's what I'm seeing. The message that I'm getting, what Japan is really saying is that we want African friendship, but not Africa people. Okay? We want Africa's friendship, but not Africa's people. We want African culture, but not African presence. We want Africans' resources, but not African equal seat at the table. We don't want to sit with them at the table. And family, this is the same attitude we see from many parts of the world. They want Africans' diamond, they want Africans' oil, they want Africans' music, they want African spirit, but you know what? They don't want African sons and daughters to sit with them to walk freely in their spaces, in their streets. This is what I call global hypocrisy. And Japan, Africa Hometown Program is just one of the examples of how racism is being packaged inside diplomacy, okay?
The Japan International Cooperation Agency will designate 4 Japanese cities as hometowns for African nations. Nagai and Yamagata will be paired with Tanzania, Kisarazu and Chiba with Nigeria, Sanjo and Nagata with Ghana, and Mbari and Niamey with Mozambique. The initiative aims to deepen human exchanges, boost regional revitalization, and strengthen Japan's ties with Africa.
Isn't it good that Japan wants to build ties with Africa? Yes, it is good. But we must always look at the intent and power dynamics, okay? When the US partners with Japan, it is not symbolic. It is military bases, it is trade agreements, it is cultural exchange everywhere. When Europe partners with Japan, it is not symbolic. It is real influence. It is investment. It is open collaboration. When Africa partners with Japan, suddenly it is symbolic hometowns. Suddenly it's cultural dances and festivals, not real structure immigration. And that is the silent racism giving us symbolism instead of substance. And that's where Africa, we are failing. That's where our African leaders are failing us, and we need to change that. If we need relationship, if we need partnership, let's be economic partnership. Real deal. Not because I love your dances, I love how you dance, you Ghanaian people, I want you to come and sit in this town. We want to see how you are dancing. Not like that. Oh, I love how Nigerians are busy, are working hard. I want them to come and sit on that corner. Why are they not doing that to Europe countries? Why are they not doing that to American countries? Why are they not saying that this city, this town is only for Americans can live in this town? Why only African? We need to think.
The headline that started all the problems. I'm here to set the record straight.
Okay, Africans, this is a family meeting. Lie number 1, there is no special visa. I don't know who started this, if it's TikTok or wherever it came from. It's not true. There's no special visa. So it's not a residency program. It's not a long-term visa program. This is a cultural exchange program. If you actually look up what JICA is, it's an international development corporation. So they've always been helping African countries. They've always had activities. They bring people over to learn karate. They bring people over for music. They bring people over for so many things. Let's think more in terms of music festivals. Let's think more in terms of a Mozambican engineer partnering with Japan to develop geothermal technology. That's the kind of stuff that they're talking about. They're not just bringing in some guy who says, I'm a hard worker, I learn quick. Lie number 2, mass migration. All the Africans are taking over. Seriously? Are you serious? Nobody's taking over. Like I said, this is a cultural exchange program. So there's no horde of Africans that's coming in. Lie number 3. Japan is letting in low-skilled workers. I gotta breathe in for this one, because which country would bring in an influx of low-skilled workers to do what? This is just not true. It's just not true. Like, please stop spreading this stuff. It's
Wagwan, beautiful family. Grand rising to my kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean. Welcome so much to my YouTube commentary. I love you and I honor you and I thank you so much for tuning in today. Without you, this platform does not exist. Okay? Now, today I'm diving into a story that maybe mainstream media won't show you. And I want us to listen carefully, okay? Probably you have seen headlines about Japan's so-called Africa Hometown program. I know you have come across that. Okay? Now, on the surface of this, it sounds harmless. It sounds like Japan and Africa wants to create this good relationship. Japan partnering with African countries, building cultural ties, encouraging exchange. It's a good thing, and we all appreciate that. But I sat down and think about why this African Home series, and something came in my mind. If you look deeper, there is a silent racism hidden under the surface. There is a silent racism hidden under this agenda or under this program of African hometowns in Japan. And we need to talk about that. I'm so sorry if my reasoning is a little bit awkward. It's not reasoning with you, but it's not bad for Japan to partner with Africa. But let me tell you, a lot of Europe countries, Asian countries, just a lot of countries outside the African continent, right now, they are trying so hard to create friendship with Africa because they know very well Africa is rising. They know very well black people are rising. So it's better to be on the better side. But how are we doing this? And that's why my title today is about Japan's silent racism against black people. And trust me, by the time we are done, by the time I'm done with my commentary, you will see how something dressed up as friendship is really just another way to control, another way to contain and limit black presence in the society. Before we go down there, I want us to watch these clips here and then we'll come back.
Breaking news. Japan is designating 4 cities to be the home of Africans from 4 countries. And those countries are Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana, and Mozambique. Now, Japan has been notorious for keeping out foreigners, and Japan is facing a massive crisis. It's facing a massive crisis of lack of population growth. So hospitals and schools have been closing in Japan for the last so many years. The biggest crisis they have right now is that they have a very large aging population, and now they are realizing that they have to open the doors for Africans, but they don't want the Africans to be mixing with the Japanese people. So they have created and assigned 4 cities that will become the hometowns for Africans. It makes me laugh because, like, what is it about Africans that, you know what? Yeah, we Africans should just refuse to be treated this way. That they don't want the actual Africans to mix with normal Japanese people, so they have to assign locations where Africans will stay, will be confined. And because I don't think people realize just how right-wing Japan is. Tell me, what do you think about this? Why is it that Africans allow themselves to be treated and I know Africans need to go to places because it seems like because opportunities are thin on the ground. But how can we just continue to just be treated in this way? What do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments what you think about Japan designating 4 cities in which Africans can live in Japan.
How do you think your experience has been different being a POC living in Japan?
Okay, I tell people this all the time. Racism in Japan is like an idea. Somebody came here and told people to be racist. And they were like, okay, this is how you're gonna be racist. Now, don't get me wrong, they have xenophobia. So like, that's on everyone. But the racism part, somebody told them that trash. Once you prove them wrong, they're like, oh, that person lied to me. Or, oh, I was stupid.
They've never experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
They just preconceived notion of what people of color are gonna be until they actually meet us.
Exactly. They still have those notions because it's just all over the world.
So have you been discriminated because you're a foreigner?
Yeah, I feel like there is a bit of racism out here. They don't exactly accept African Americans. So yeah, I notice when I go in stores and stuff, I'm followed around like real close and stuff. And I notice they don't do that for other people. So yeah, I am treated differently than other people. I mean, they're nice people, don't get me wrong, but you'll see it sometimes.
Until I met the mayor of my town, Hoyashi, in Japan, and I told my mayor, why when I'm going to Japanese restaurants, they tell me away. When I go to the ryokan, they tell me away, and he said, no, they're not racist. We become jittery when we don't know how to interact. It's called xenophobia. You don't want to look stupid. In Japanese, they just want to be perfect all the time. Okay. If I'm going to serve this man and I make a mistake, my face is down. So rather, avoid it. So he gave me a word to use, which is a greeting that says, I am sorry for being a burden on you. and it changed everything.
So once you said that,
yes, she knows that.
But I wouldn't want to walk around thinking that I'm a burden.
Well, then stay in your country. Don't go anywhere.
Well, I want to visit. I want to.
There is something called multicultural communication, multicultural understanding, multicultural. We teach it. It's very expensive. You think it's there for nothing? It's there to prepare you to know where you're going and how to make the larger community feel comfortable. Not for them to make you feel comfortable. You buy that comfort.
So because you don't know how to serve me, I need to dumb down.
No. It's not a dumbing down. That's a very American, and I'm
basically saying I'm so sorry that you cannot serve me.
You have come to.
But can you serve me?
No, you've come to disturb a functioning status quo. You, if you are a man of conscience, you know that I am different. I cannot expect the majority to disorganize themselves to accommodate me. I have to find that accommodation, make them feel that I come with knowledge about you.
But don't they know I'm traveling to their country? Don't they know that there are visitors, there's people coming?
Yeah, there are foreign hotels. We call them foreign hotels. Go there, you go in.
So stay at the Marriott?
That's correct. That's why we have the ryokan. Ryokan is traditional Japanese hotels.
Okay.
You take off your shoes and your clothes at the door, standing naked, and a woman will give you what is called yukata, and you wear it. And then you wear sneakers. The whole bamboo floor is polished, you can eat from it. You all, men and women, have to take a shower, sit, and I wash your bag. Western people are not comfortable doing that. So don't come here. But out of curiosity, some of we foreigners want to go there. It has caused problem already. A woman won't behave this way if there hasn't been a precedent to that.
Do people in Japan dislike tourists?
I would say Japan is a very racist country. Not to generalize, it's too different from the world, you know. Right, and a lot of people don't want to accept this difference. Especially Japanese people, I think they tend to protect their own space. So most critical is that you don't invade in this space that they're protecting. And that's the main irritation that tourists bring into Japan. I'm currently working as a tour guide in Osaka. I've been talking to a lot of local Japanese business owners, and a lot of them explain that it takes much more effort to serve a foreigner than a Japanese local that always knows the rules, right? So this is a big service cost that they have when it comes to restaurants as well.
What's an example of like rules that foreigners does not or cannot follow?
One is like food culture is very different, you know, like Japan often has this culture that if you order something, you gotta finish it up, you know. But if you go to a very local ramen shop, they sometimes punish you for not eating the whole ramen, right? So there's actually one ramen place in Osaka that you have to deposit 10,000 yen, so around $80 as a bill, and they'll hang it in the fridge until you finish up the whole thing, right? Eating the whole meal is a way to show respect. I find a lot of people from other countries that like cherry picking.
Welcome back. Now, you have come across this. Japan announced an initiative through its International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and called the Africa Hometown Program. Okay? Do you know what they did? They matched 4 African countries with 4 Japanese cities. Mozambique was matched with Imabari. Ghana with Sanjo. Tanzania with Nagal. Is it Nagal or Nagai? Then Nigeria, it was matched with Kisa Razu. Sounds sweet. Sound perfect idea. On paper, this is about friendship. It's partnership. That's on paper. On paper, it's about cultural festival. It's about student exchanges. It's about symbolic connection. But notice what they didn't tell you is that the program wasn't about visas. The program wasn't about real migration opportunities. Okay? The program wasn't about equal integration. That's what you don't understand. And that's why I'm doing this video. I want you to understand these programs. It is not about getting visa easily to go to Japan. No. It's not about that. Now, it was symbolic, pure optic, and symbolism can be powerful, but symbolism can also be dangerous when it hides the truth. Because my first question is, why only specific towns? Why not Tokyo in Japan? Why not just Japan in full, that African citizens can go anywhere in Japan and settle? Why setting aside towns? Okay? We need to think deeper so that, sometimes we take things lightly, but at the end of the day, it has deeper meaning. Why only specific towns? Now, when Japan partners with the US or Europe, they don't assign them to 4 small towns. That's the reality. You didn't know that. When Japan partner with any other Europe country, they don't assign them to small towns. They deal with them as equals across the whole nation. But when it comes to Africa, suddenly we are put in a box. Suddenly we are assigned a certain corner. Like that is a corner of Mozambique. That's a corner of Nigerian people. Okay? And that's where silent racism comes between. It's called the hidden separation. I want us to reason together here. If I tell you you are welcome in my home, but only at this one room, not the rest of the house, it tells you something, okay? It tells you something. Is that real even welcoming you? Or it is controlled access? And this is exactly what Japan is doing. They say we partner with Africa, but they assign us to a certain towns away from Tokyo, away from Osaka, away from the economic and cultural heart of the nation. It may look like friendship, yes, but to me, it smells like segregation. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that. To me, it smells like segregation. And that's what we call, or that's why I call it silent racism. It doesn't insult you directly. It doesn't say you can't come, but it quietly draws lines around where you belong and where you don't. And this matters a lot. The reason why I'm talking about this is because Japan has always struggled with outsiders, and it's one of the most homogeneous countries or homogeneous countries in the world. They don't easily accept migrants and black people, okay? They don't easily accept migrants and black people in particular because of the suspicion, stereotypes, and even harassment, okay? There are stories of Africans living in Japan being followed in stores, being denied housing, being treated as permanent outsiders, even if they speak Japanese fluently. So when the government creates a program that says, we will connect Africa to Japan, but only in these few towns, what they are really doing is managing their fear. It's like saying, we want African culture, we want African music, we want African energy, we want African fashion, but we don't want too much African presence in our big cities. That's what they are trying to say. That's not partnership. That is containment. That's containment. And family, let me say, you have to know this. In historical echoes, Japan has a history of creating separate spaces for people they consider different. Yeah. For example, during the feudal era, they had what were called burakumin. Is it burakumin hamlets? The burakumin were Japanese people who were considered outcast because of their jobs, butchers, tanners, executioners, and they were forced to live in separate neighborhoods, stigmatized for generations. And even after Japan abolished the caste system, discrimination against burakumin continued. They were denied jobs, those people. They were denied marriage, and they were denied full acceptance. So think about this. If Japan could do that to its own people, if Japan could do that to its own people, people who looked Japanese, people who spoke Japanese, people who were Japanese, what makes you think as an African or as a black person that they will treat you as equal? This Africa hometown ideas echoes the same mindset that yes, you can be connected to us, but over there, that is your corner. Those toilets are the people from Uganda. Those ones are the people from the city. That's what they're trying to do. Back here in Africa, when you go to a wedding or you go to a funeral, just an event, a celebration, MC comes and takes a mic and say, hello, my people. I know we have visitors here from Nairobi, visitors who have come from abroad. So there's few announcements I want to make. That toilet over there is for people from outside. The visitors use that toilet from Nairobi, from New York, use that one. The people who are coming from this village, you know where to go. When we finish this event, visitors, you will go there, you will eat there. The people who have come from this village, they know where to go. Discrimination. That's what Japan is trying to do. I know some will urge, but isn't this better than nothing? Isn't it good that Japan wants to build ties with Africa? Yes. It is good, but we must always look at the intent and power dynamics, okay? When the US partners with Japan, it is not symbolic. It is military bases, it is trade agreements, it is cultural exchange everywhere. When Europe partners with Japan, it is not symbolic. It is real influence. It is investment. It is open collaboration. When Africa partners with Japan, suddenly it is symbolic hometowns. Suddenly it's cultural dances and festivals, not real structure immigration. And that is the silent racism giving us symbolism instead of substance. And that's where Africa, we are failing. That's where our African leaders are failing us, and we need to change that. If we need relationship, if we need partnership, let's be economic partnership. Real deal. Not because I love your dances, I love how you dance, you Ghanaian people, I want you to come and sit in this town. We want to see how you are dancing. Not like that. Oh, I love how Nigerians are busy, are working hard. I want them to come and sit on that corner. Why are they not doing that to Europe countries? Why are they not doing that to American countries? Why are they not saying that this city, this town is only for Americans can live in this town? Why only African? We need to think. We need to think. As Africa, if we want to rise, we need not to fall on this, we call what? These mitegos, little traps. We are falling easily on this. We are there celebrating as Africans. Hey, Japan has a partner with us. Which partnership is that? Personally, I don't see partnership there. I see a silent racism. Yeah. Believe me, that's what I'm seeing. So if you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comment section. So I'll say this. The message that I'm getting, what Japan is really saying is that we want African friendship, but not Africa people. Okay? We want Africa's friendship, but not Africa's people. We want African culture, but not African presence. We want Africans' resources, but not African equal seat at the table. We don't want to sit with them at the table. And family, this is the same attitude we see from many parts of the world. They want Africans' diamond, they want Africans' oil, they want Africans' music, they want African spirit, but you know what? They don't want African sons and daughters to sit with them to walk freely in their spaces, in their streets. This is what I call global hypocrisy. And Japan, Africa Hometown Program is just one of the examples of how racism is being packaged inside diplomacy. Okay? And silent racism is more dangerous than just open racism. Why? Because I know some will say at least they are not open racist. But let me tell you, silent racism is more dangerous than open racism. Because open racism, you can see, you can fight, you can call it out. But silent racism, it hides behind smile, programs, and friendly words. It makes you drop your guard while still limiting you. And this tells you you are welcome, but quietly builds walls around where you can go. It tells you we respect you, but never gives you equal access. And if we don't call it out right now, if we don't see it right now, it normalizes itself, it becomes part of the system, unseen and questioned. And that's why we must shine light on it today as Black people. Okay? And I'll say this is just a global pattern. Let's not be fooled into thinking that this is only happening in Japan. No, the USA does it. When they celebrate Black culture but continue to police and oppress Black communities, Europe does it when they love African music, fashion and art, but they close their borders to African migrants. China does it when they invest in Africa but still treat Africans in Guangzhou and outside like outsiders. It's happening. So Japan is just another player in the global game of taking Africa symbolically but rejecting Africa. Let me tell you, this is silent racism of the world. They don't want you as equals, but they want you as symbols. So Africa, we need to get an answer. The answer is not begging Japan or Europe or America to treat us equally or treat us better. The answer is to rise, or to be strong that they can no longer contain us in symbolic towns. Africa must invest in itself. Africans in the diaspora must unite with Africans on the continent. We must build our own power. We must build our own industries. We must build our own culture unapologetically, because when you rise on your own terms, no silent racism can control you. So if Japan wants Africa, they must deal with Africa as a full partner, not as symbolic corner. So when you hear about Japan's African Hometown Program, don't just clap. Oh, Japan needs us. No. Don't just say, oh, that's nice. Look deeper. Ask why we are put in a symbolic towns while others are welcomed across the nation. See the silent racism for what it is. And remember this, our worth is not in symbolic spaces created for optics. Our worth is who we are. Descendants of kings and queens. People of resilience, builders of civilization. That's who we are. If you get something from this, tell me in the comment section. What do you think? Until next episode, adios.